Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we're going to talk about none other than Trip, the Green Timeforce Ranger. Now, Trip is a very interesting character, and I'm about to tell you why. Now, he first appears in the episode Forces from the Future. Basically, he's from the year 3000. He's a Timeforce Ranger. Though he wasn't supposed to be in this, he basically joined the crew along with the rest of the Rangers after Jennifer to go back in time to avenge her lover slash fiance, the Red Ranger at the time, who had just been killed by Rancid. They go back in time to stop Rancid in the year 2000 and get trapped there because their ship has kind of a crash landing. Now, Trip is from the planet, I'm going to butcher the name, Zabria. Zabria? Xybra. Yeah, Zabria. So he is not a native to Earth, but he basically calls Earth his home planet. He's been living there for a little while at least, that he calls it his planet now. Now, he, as his native species, they don't keep secrets from each other. So he's very naive compared to the rest of the group, and he's always like believing what people tell him, even if it's like a sarcastic or basically they're lying to him and stuff like that, and it usually leads to bad connotations. Now, why is his race so important as well? Well, it's also the same planet that has the supersonic. I don't know why I keep want to say psychic Rangers, but he's the Supersonic Rangers, who are a Sentai group, but they're also seen in the final battle, the Mega Force episode. And they're also were known for being killed by their own Green Ranger, who had become the Psycho Green Ranger in the comics. It's pretty interesting there. Now, he is different from and standing out because he has neon green hair, as well as in his forehead is a jewel-like thing that's just part of his physiology as an alien. Now, he looks up to all the Rangers, and he's a good Ranger in his own right. He's extremely skilled with technology. He, having created the Electro Booster weapon, as well as his own robotic owl, Circuit, who is very close to. He's basically his best friend. Circuit is his best friend, and Circuit is essentially the Alpha 5 of the entire group. He informs them, he gives out wise knowledge sometimes and the like, and Trip basically loves him. Basically, most people would look at Circuit and say, oh, it's just a robot. Trip sees him more, so basically like his best friend. Now, he's willing to stand up for what he believes in, no matter the consequences. Even when he believes that a mutant named Nocticon, sorry, I can't read. Nocticon, who doesn't want to be evil, is about to be destroyed by Eric Myers just because Nocticon is a mutant. And arguably, throughout the whole series, we've just been shown evil mutants constantly. So, and Eric Myers is a little hot-headed, so he's about to destroy it. Trip jumps in the way and goes, no, he's not evil, he's just misunderstood. And basically put him right himself in the line of fire to protect the poor mutant. And Eric deliberately misses them and just walks away. And Trip's like going, oh, sweet. He does believe me. And basically that ends that good little episode but there. Now, his human best friend is none other than Katie. Now, they're really close. He trusts her a lot, and they understand each other to many levels. Now, Katie is the stronger of the two, and she would basically, like, supernaturally strong. She basically would protect him from when he basically gets into situations where he didn't read the situation correctly. So, he is also responsible for the reformation of Nadira. Now, what happened with that? Well, he was fighting Nadira, who's basically near the end of the series. She goes on a shopping spree. By shopping spree, I mean she just goes stealing stuff from a shopping closet, Plato's Closet right place of the early 2000s, and her attack causes a woman to go into labor, and he immediately jumps to attack her, and right when Nadira's about to like strike, he's like, "Oh, this woman's about to get pregnant." She's like, "Oh, why were we stopping?" And she's like, we can't fight anymore. We have to do this." And he even forces her to help the woman give birth, and the vision of this newborn, this baby human coming into life, even though it's a disgusting process to watch, by the way, she changes her entire personality because of this. She reconsiders her entire life goals and like what she's doing, because I believe at this point Nadira has this whole view on like what the world's really like, and then she goes, no, there's something more. And then she probably has a deal with her own father and going, is this why my father loves me so much? Because she saw this process and that was it. It's not really certain, but we can figure out there. Now, this causes her to basically reevaluate everything, and it's all because Trip kind of forces her to help give birth to this baby that is being born because of the stress and the entire situation of the hostage situation going on there. Now, when eventually they're all sent back in the future, he accompanies the rest of them and then returns back to the present to help in the fight. And they would eventually successfully capture Rancic and return home. Now, in Wild Force, he would return again a year later with the other members of Time Force to do battle against the Mute Orgs that had escaped back in the year 3000, who basically remained dormant that entire time, who had taken on a mutant DNAs. They're orgs that had taken on mutant DNAs from Rancic and jumped back in time. They go to chase after them and to do battle against them. Now, he basically goes to the control room of this nuclear power plant to prevent it from basically exploding and causing everything to mutate, and pollution-wise would increase the like, which is the whole goal of the orgs. They're basically based off pollution themselves. They stop everything happening and they eventually destroy the mute orgs in the end. And that's kind of it. Now, it is recapped in Dino Thunder, basically through the Tommy Oliver vids, explains basically all the different Rangers, all the nostalgia throughout the Ranger teams, and going on from there. Now, he would supposedly return along with the rest of the team of Time Force, though not removing his helmet in the legendary battle in the Mega Force Rangers against the Armada once and for all, but we don't actually see his face. Now, in the Split History, which is in the Shattered Grid, he is basically fighting off the forces of Lord Draken and does battle there. Eventually, they are sucked through a fracture and time gets reset and Trip is restored. That is essentially who Trip is. Now, his green gem embedded in his forehead has the ability to read minds, pinpoint locations, and see the future in some instances, though it is not very reliable at all. Like, it's like the vaguest sense of the future, like extremely vague sense of future. So don't rely on it too much. It's basically going, hey, that's going to happen there. Now, his arsenal-wise, he has the Chrono Morpher. Chrono being based off the god of time, Chrono, which is his Time Force Power Rangers Morpher, which allows him to access to become the Green Time Force Ranger. It is connected to his DNA, so he's the only one who can access that until it's basically scrubbed clean eventually. But that only can be done in the year 3000, I do believe. I don't see why it wouldn't be. He has the Chrono Blaster and the Chrono Sabers, which are basically two clock hands in his hand that he uses to fight with both hands. And he also has the V3. Now, the V3 is none other than just a giant blaster that combined with the other big blasters of 1 through 5 to basically form a giant weapon that could use to destroy monsters. He has also created and used the Electro Booster to help against one of the monsters there. His vehicles include the Green Vector Cycle, his personal vehicle, which is basically a motorcycle that is the color green and white. He also has the Time Jet, and his Zord is known as the Time Flyer 3. Now, why does it have a cool name like the rest of them? Well, think about it. They are basically a paramilitary organization that's protect all of time, so they're not going to individually get special names to all their vehicles. That's why it's called Time Flyer 3. There's probably dozens upon thousands or hundreds of these ships doing there, so you can't really name it really special there. So that is none other than Trip. Now, he is also the first Green Ranger of the series to not get a full name. He only has Trip as his name, and that's pretty interesting there. He's also the first non-Earth native Ranger to be green that is also not from Earth, per se. I know I messed that entire up, but we're not going to redo that. So, thank you guys very much. I hope you enjoyed this episode of None Other Than Trip. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. May the power protect you always.